This rare desert plant looks like something out of Star Wars.
Every time I find the bleeding tooth, people ask me to lick it. So for science, let's give it a go.
You can hear it humming. And they tried camouflaging this first one. This little death shrapnel looking palm tree. Yeah, that's a 5G tower, bucko.
He carries what scripture calls the eternal gospel.
He said, this ain't Old Testament, this ain't New Testament. This is the eternal gospel, behold! What's good, everybody? You already know the vibes. It's your boy JetskiChucK. Today we're going to be diving in so many different mysterious and strange TikToks, disturbing theories, all that. Hit that like and subscribe button as we dive through these videos and try to make sense of all this madness.
Wicked one. That's enough from us, isn't it?
I don't scare easily, but what the f? This OP is an antique collector, and he keeps them in the basement level of the storage unit. Everything seems to be going fine and dandy for a while until he finds this nightmare-inducing creature at a swap meet. He was already feeling uneasy about the thing, but any reservations he may have had were confirmed when he got contacted by the owners of this storage facility. They informed him that they were hearing a lot of strange and unusual noises coming from his unit. Scratching, bangings, the whole 9 yards. But he didn't know what to tell them because, he wasn't there and he had no idea. That being the case, he decided to set up a video camera inside his storage unit, and this is what he caught.
I can't watch. Lock that thing up, put it in a damn violin case or something. Put it in something with some straps. You got it laying on top of the box? Free roam? Put some handcuffs on that little demon Muppet baby. Maybe it is haunted. It won't let me finish this video for some reason. I'm trying to play it. I've never seen that before. Brain cells play Doom.
Witnessing the beginning of the end, son, because no, that's just not a normal thing playing Doom. That's brain cells that they took from a human, put it in a petri dish, and the first thing they did was like, let's see if it could learn how to play Doom. Like, I read this passage from the scientists and to me, I'm like, what the have y'all not watched a End of the World movie in your lives before? Yes, it's alive, and yes, it's biological, but really what is being used is material that can process information in a very special way that we can't recreate in silicon. It just said they created life and basically have it stuck playing Doom. And it's alive. It's biological. Imagine every time you wake up, you fighting for your life. I mean, we kind of are right now, but like really fighting for your life. Seeing demons, and then you die, wake back up again, back in hell. And then it
not far off.
Comes from Steve. He said, oh, this is a significant level up. But we still don't understand how these neurons are playing the game, such as how the neurons know what is expected of them or how they can see the screen with no eyes. Because they living in the game. just in my head, immediately I'm like, oh, shit. It sounds like the brain cells got activated, and now all of a sudden, it may only be a few, but they're living a life in a video game, and you put them in hell. God forbid AI takes the next step in robots. We're done. They're gonna be like, oh, yeah, I've just been fighting for my life for the last 3 years in a row. We're killing all of them. I can't help but think about perspective. And I'm like, okay, if I was the brain cells, every day I gotta wake up, I'm moving, grooving, vibing, sliding for my life. Margin for error, you guessed it, death. Red Bull, nowhere in sight, so why strictly for vibes. And then I found out, oh, that's your creator right there. They just put you in hell by choice because they wanted to see if you could learn how to play the game and survive. There's apocalypse written all over it, son. Y'all didn't sit there and think like, why don't we put them in a happy-go-lucky game or something that's exciting, adventurous, fun? You may have just actually dropped the human inside of hell.
Y'all could have put it in Mario, Sims, Roller Coaster Tycoon, anything. Y'all said put them in Doom. When that AI wakes up, he's gonna be pure Terminator mode.
The mind that refuses correction builds its own prison stone by stone. It constructs walls of ignorance, illusion, and self-deception that keep the higher light out. But the mind that welcomes truth is freed in an instant, for a single realization has the power to break every chain. The one who ignores truth condemns himself to suffering, repeating cycles of ignorance under the dominion of the dragon, the lower self. The mind that refuses...
Who wrote this? Satan?
We got two giant ones side by side. It's tuned to carry high-frequency millimeter waves, the same range known to agitate water molecules. And guess what? You're mostly water. Your body isn't just skin and bones. You have an electromagnetic field, a biofield. It responds to frequency, just like a radio. Now imagine standing near tech that pulses energy 24/7. We got two giant ones side by side.
You can hear it humming. And they tried camouflaging this first one. This little death shrapnel looking palm tree. Yeah, that's a 5G tower, bucko. You know, and he's saying that it activates the water molecules. Imagine what it does to the metal inside your body.
This rare desert plant looks like something out of Star Wars, lives almost entirely underground, and appears only when conditions are just right. Meet Felisma sonore, commonly known as sand food. Our science and conservation team recently spotted this incredible plant east of San Diego. Its close relative, Felisma arenarium, or the desert Christmas tree, has also appeared in full bloom this year thanks to favorable weather conditions. Most of this plant's life happens beneath the surface, hidden in one of the harshest environments on Earth. Then, for a brief moment, it emerges with otherworldly blooms that seem to rise straight out of the sand. Sand food doesn't photosynthesize like most plants. Instead, it survives by drawing water, nutrients, and sugars from the roots of nearby desert plants, allowing it to thrive where few others can. A rare bloom like this is more than just beautiful. It's a reminder that deserts are full of hidden life, resilience, and wonder. This rare...
That is insane. You can see the giant tube where it was siphoning nutrients from other plants. I was going to say it looks like a sand donut. That's what I'd name it, the sand donut. With the purple flowers popping out from it. It's interesting. Speaking about strange stuff growing out of the ground, check this out.
What is this bloody thing on the forest floor? This is hands down the coolest looking thing I have ever seen. So for science, let's give it a go. This is Hydnellum peckii, or the bleeding tooth. All these little droplets are called guttation. This is essentially happening because this mushroom is growing so quickly that it is sweating, and it is metabolizing by excreting water and CO2. And then water in this mushroom turns this incredible shade of blood red because of the polyphenols produced by this mushroom. Despite its appearance, this mushroom is not toxic. It's just quite bitter. Every time I find the bleeding tooth, people ask me to lick it. So for science, let's give it a go. Ooh, bitter. Doesn't taste great. Is not toxic. Probably.
Don't attempt or reenact anything you have seen on this video.
I stained my tongue a little bit orange. I'm gonna leave the rest of it because it's just beautiful the way it is. Oh my goodness. It's just bleeding everywhere. Ooh, so bloody. Oh, so bloody. I'm going to use this to dye fabrics with, so there's no harm to me squeezing the juice out of it. The juice is not toxic. It just stains your hands kind of orangey red. And there's a beautiful little specimen over here that I wouldn't dare to touch because it's just too pretty. Incredible Hydnellum peckii. What is this bloody thing on the forest?
Now, I'm not too sure if this mushroom is poisonous or not, but if it's not, that's fascinating because it looks like it's got death written all over it.
So these are some basic survival skills you can teach your daughters. If somebody makes a threat to you,
Believe them,
don't never give out your address.
because friends fall out.
Know your crew, first and last name.
Ain't no mystery, friends.
Phones down.
Eyes up while in public,
Know your exit points.
in every building that you walk into.
Speaking of strange, you'll never guess what this is.
These are what used to be called Devil's Corkscrews and got the name Diamond Alex. Rangers would find these huge screws, and they couldn't figure out what they were. Some folks thought they were invertebrates. Well, then you find one with the animal in it. And that is an incredible find. At the bottom of this burrow is Paleocastor fosser, which is a beaver. Apparently, not all beavers build dams. This one dug elaborate burrows. And this one died in its burrow. It flooded, it's hard to say. There is another burrow that has been found that had a predator in it, a carnivorous animal. That's not here. But this is something I've always wanted to see, and these are the actual burrows. These are so cool. They even have a modern burrow on display for comparison to show how if you dump plaster of Paris down a ground squirrel burrow, it's also helical. And yet this big beaver, not even that big, dug a giant hole in the ground, which looks really cool. And I'm super delighted to see it. These are what used to be called Devil's.
So it's a giant beaver tunnel. The helix spiral going down. That's a fossilized beaver tunnel, I guess. At first glance, you would think it's wood, but it's actually a croissant. A cinnamon croissant, I think, with a crispy wafer outside.
There is exactly one place in the entire Bible where an angel, not Jesus, not a prophet, is given the gospel to preach in mid-air to the whole world at once. Revelation 14. John sees another angel flying directly overhead, positioned in mid-heaven, so his voice reaches every corner of the earth simultaneously. He carries what Scripture calls the eternal gospel, a phrase that appears exactly once in the entire Bible. Here and nowhere else.
He said, this ain't Old Testament, this ain't New Testament, this is the eternal gospel, behold!
Not preached by a disciple, not written in a letter, delivered by a single angel, airborne, to every nation, tribe, language, and people, all at once. He cries out with a loud voice, "Fear God and give him glory, because the hour of his judgment has come. Worship him who made the heaven, the earth, and the sea, and the springs of water." This comes right before the most severe judgments described in Revelation. the 7 bowls of God's wrath. Many believe this is God's final call to repent. One final, global announcement before judgment falls. Not hidden, not whispered. Broadcast to everyone alive, with no one able to say they never heard it. Then, right after the warnings, a voice from heaven speaks one more time. Blessed are the dead who die in the Lord from now on. They will rest from their labor, and what they've done will follow them. Every other message in Revelation unfolds step by step. Seals, trumpets, bowls. But before the final judgments begin, heaven interrupts itself once. One angel, one message, sent to everyone at the same moment. Scripture never explains how one voice reaches the whole earth at once. It just says, it does.
I don't know why, but that just gets me so hype. Like I can feel it inside me, just like, man, they not messing around.
You home from school early, and then you got your shirt all dirty. Ooh.
This is the most impressive thing I've seen all year. He is dribbling a block. Guys, I'm here to tell you, nobody in the NBA can do this. Not a chance. This is crazy.
You home from school early?
He's airbending that. Look how it rolls off his fingertips. That's not normal. He's got the block spinning perfectly. He's balancing the block on his 3 middle fingers as he's doing it. He's like, that's impressive. I can't explain it. Japan is living in 2060. All right, let's see it. I would love one. That looks delicious. Well, it's like he's putting frozen Coke inside Coke, and then it's got like this, whatever that is. I want to try it. And you got ice crunchies inside it, like you get at the hospital. Yeah, I want to bite. Speaking of metal, check this out.
Today I'm going to take my magnetic field viewer and I'm going to rebuild it. I had this crazy idea that I could make something that shows magnetism in deeper dimensions. Most of my ideas come to me in the moments right before I fall asleep. We're going to find out today if this idea is going to work. So my idea was to use 2 of these. So with the one Ferrocell, this is what we would see. And when I put the other one on top,
It looks like some type of black hole or toroidal field, doesn't it?
we get a much deeper and denser image. Oh, Look at that. Okay. I've got to admit, this is pretty spectacular. I wasn't expecting that. Let's do one last view. Just from underneath this new one. I didn't put backing material on it, but look at how deep that is. That is just crazy.
It's like you can see the actual magnetism field. That's what makes this so spectacular.
And this new cell is very sensitive.
Jonathan Reed Rudder is the real deal. All right, let's see what he's talking about.
I've tried to say it doesn't exist. This is what I found in the forest in 1996. It has 3 needles on the inside that actually penetrate your arm, the wearer of this, that I think creates a biological interface with the device and or the beings who use it. My impression of it is that it's designed to keep control and communication between the extraterrestrial and their superiors. I believe it fits on your arm, the wearer's arm, like this. If you push down, the needles penetrate your skin, tissue, and into the nerves of your arm. There is some pain to it, but it quickly goes away. It becomes kind of a cold, almost a frozen type feeling. Very quickly that pain subsides, but if it functions, which sometimes it doesn't, it starts a throbbing inside your chest, literally a pulsation inside your chest that starts from the center and emanates to your extremities. When that happens, then it starts to be activated by there. Now I can feel it. I can feel it in my chest. It's painful. And then they make the decision whether so many people have tried to say it doesn't exist.
It was an alien artifact, I guess, that Infinity Gauntlet that was charging them up. How crazy is that? All right, guys, we got another wild one. This is in a foreign language. I'm not sure where this is at, but it appears this dude is feeding some type of mysterious creature.
Thịt hôm nay còn tươi lắm, mới lấy ngoài chợ về. Nhìn thì ngon chứ thật ra cũng tanh, nặng mùi lắm. Công việc này nói thật là chẳng ưa gì đâu. Chuẩn bị đồ ăn cho con rồng ấy, mà nó thì chưa thuận được. Lúc nào cũng gầm gụ, chức lao ra cản người. Thành ra cái xô này nặng ghê. Thịt toàn mỡ vội xương, nó khoái lắm. Hôm nay nó đang quầu, nhìn mắt đã thấy muốn nuốt người rồi. Không dám mở cửa luôn á. Từ từ thôi, lấy đi nào.
Ôi mẹ kiếp, vẫn còn ở dưới đấy.
Thịt hôm nay còn tươi.
What is it, man? I thought it was just a Komodo dragon. So if we go back, you know, that's why they're pumping all these AI videos, because when we do see something that could potentially be some real footage, it's screaming, is it AI? Is it AI? And then the real footage would just escape us. I mean, look, he's not morphing or anything. His eyes stay bright. You guys tell me what exactly is going on here. Comments say this is called a Baryonyx, the Baryonyx was found in parts of Portugal, and it was originated in New England and even in Africa. The Baryonyx was a semi-aquatic creature, so it could breathe underwater and on land. It was a fish-eating dinosaur, and it had crocodile-like snout and belonged to the Baryonyx tree. I hope this helps. Oh, man. If you're enjoying this video, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button. It helps the video out. If you're enjoying this type of content, please consider hitting the like. If you're enjoying this type of content, please consider hitting the like and subscribe button. It helps the channel out. It helps us grow, helps the algorithm out. And I just want to thank you guys for your support and all your encouraging words. With that being said, let's dive straight back in.
What's going on? Somebody tell me what the hell is going on? Some mysterious sea creature washes up in Georgia Beach. I know you didn't hear about this. This is what they're trying to tell us. There was a dinosaur type creature that they think is the Loch Ness monster. So check what they're saying now. A dad and his son was walking down the beach and found this creature dead. Oh my days. The scientists are struggling to identify it. But I think we know who it is. It's Nessie. It's Nessie. So for the people that wanted factual evidence if Loch Ness monster exists, Redder, they just found it. What's going on? Somebody...
What are the odds? What if that creature we just seen in that last clip was potentially a different version of the Loch Ness monster? You got the Loch Ness monster in Taiwan, Korea, wherever that was, and then you got this one washing up shore. It's interesting.
Here we have a soundtrack played forwards.
One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
I'm going to play this in reverse for you at 3 speeds, okay? Progressively slower speeds. When Neil Armstrong says his famous first words, that's one small step for man, a speech reversal occurs that says man will spacewalk. I'll play it for you first and then I'll tell you the significance of what I think this means.
Man will spacewalk. Man will spacewalk.
Can you all hear that? Now all I'm doing is playing the tape backwards. Here it is forwards. And in reverse. Okay. So as Neil Armstrong, incidentally, I wonder how many of you are aware that Neil Armstrong actually had a prepared script. He was supposed to say that's one small step for a man. But he left out the A and said that's one small step for man. One of the interesting things that we've noticed about reverse speech is that speech reversals will frequently occur in the pauses and mispronunciations of speech, the ers and the ahs, the rapid tonal inflections. If you ever sit down and listen to someone talking for any long, for even 2 or 3 minutes, just intently listen to them, and you'll notice that their speech is full of inconsistencies. I mean, I've rarely come across anyone who can talk in a very monotone voice for a long period of time without slipping up. And it is the tonal inflections in our speech that create speech reversals. One of the things that we've discovered about reverse speech is that we believe reverse speech to be a right brain hemispheric function. It's been thought by many that the right brain hemisphere is dormant in active verbal communication. Many linguists will tell you that the dialogue formation of speech comes from the left brain hemisphere. The tonal inflection we put into speech comes from the right brain hemisphere. One of the common things about reverse speech is that as right brain hemispheric activity increases, so does the occurrence of speech reversals. In a monologue speech situation like I'm talking right now, where I have said these lines in front of audiences hundreds of times before, they're almost memory off pat, you would find reversals about once every 60 seconds because it's a pre-prepared script already running in my brain. And we get into normal natural conversation, the occurrence of reversals will increase to once every 10 or 15 seconds. In a heated argument between a husband and wife or friends, as right brain hemisphere is really clicking in, then speech reversal will occur once every 2 or 3 seconds. What is actually happening is that as we are creating the sounds of our speech, we are creating them so that two parts of our minds are communicating well, actually there's multiple parts, so let's just stick with 2 parts. But we are communicating from at least 2 different areas, forwards consciously and in reverse unconsciously. Here we have a soundtrack played forwards.
It almost sounds like it says never spacewalk. Listen.
Now all I'm doing is playing the tape backwards. Here it is forwards and in reverse.
Never spacewalk. Kind of sounds like that, doesn't it? Never spacewalk.
And in reverse.
You tell me.
Check out her necklace, right? So, have you seen that before?
Yeah, it looks like something that would be on top of the Urim and the Thummim that the Levite priest would wear.
I believe they had to wear this in order to protect them from the properties of, what was it called? The not the Holy Grail, the Ark of the Covenant. There it is. Like they had to wear those to literally protect them from the Ark of the Covenant.
You go to the Levites, who would have been the Masons of the time, but look up, it's called the Urim and the Thummim, I think it is. But it's a 12 by 4 by 3 matrix with 12 different stones, inlaid with 12 pouches of gold with the wire, and it was a front and back, and they put it on their chest, and then that's why they would have the miters on, which would be a transmitter, and that was a computer. When they put that on, they would look into the sun, but activate, and that's how they would literally, that was their computer, telepathically communicating through the pineal gland. That's why they wore the miters, the transmitter, the pinnacle.
And you could also see how that symbol right there could almost be transformed into a pine cone. Check out her necklace, right? So, have you seen that before?
Interesting. It could have been a computer? That is wild. That is interesting. A computer in their mind. It is also interesting that the statue, has it around her neck. How crazy is that? Well, that's crazy. Me thinking real life bugs crawling out of this bath bomb. That doesn't look relaxing. It does look like something's crawling out. I wouldn't use that. I'd be worried what's in my bathtub. They releasing the nanobites.
No. See that number? 2036 3602-9 3602.1. Found it. Yep. The GW Cemetery. George Washington? It's pretty wild. It's in Brooklyn. Yeah, it's really wild place. And what could this giant obelisk be? I mean, this thing is huge. And look at those symbols. Are those the Atlantean symbols? I'm sorry for my excitement. And this thing is an obelisk, solid granite up top and with copper.
All right, guys, let's see if we can decode this. It looks like we have 3 owls, broken umbrella, some type of DNA strand. This looks like the snake on like the healing you'll see, like the official sign for, like, I don't know if it's the Red Cross or something. We got a flag, a traffic control lane, a median, 2 flat screens, a party hat, an eye, another owl, and some type of Tesla coil. What is this? Let's see if I can screenshot this. And then I'm gonna put it in Chat GBT and let's see what it says. Let's see if we can translate it. Translate this image. Oh wow. Are you kidding me? I basically took a screenshot and said, translate this. These are ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs based on the symbols shown. The birds, reed leaves, eye, water ripple, folded cloth, etc. This appears to be a name or a cartouche or a royal inscription fragment, likely spelling out a throne or birth name. Reading left to right. Top and bottom, the symbols appear to include quail chicks. All right, that's a W or U. Half circle, which is a bread loaf. Okay, so this is a bread loaf, I guess. The red leaf is the Y. Okay, what does it spell? Because hieroglyphs are phonetic plus symbolic, exact translations depend on grouping from visual sequence. It likely forms something close to IRMNST. What does that mean? Ermenist? This pattern is commonly seen in royal names. Okay. Let's attempt a full phonetic reconstruction. Simply, what does it mean? It does not form a clear readable sentence as shown. Alright, if you can't do that, just say that. But I feel like we kind of got what some of the symbols mean. The half circle is a bread loaf. I mean, and quail chicks, those look like owls more than quail chicks. Okay, this is a quail chick and these are owls. Okay, that's the difference. I see that. And the standing staff, scepter. Okay, that's a scepter. All right, so it's a learning a little bit, but we still don't know what it means.
The Atlantean symbols? I'm sorry for my excitement. And this thing is an obelisk, solid granite up top and with a copper top. And it has a name on there. I don't know. Did the Atlanteans have names like us? Because I've seen a lot of ancient brick, you know, and they even have like real names on them. Like, what? Wait a minute. Was America? There was their names here? Oh, more Egyptian symbols, or the Atlanteans. I don't know. Can someone comment below and let me know what they are? Can you take a screenshot? I mean, this thing is huge. And there's a lot more videos coming because at this place they were filling in a pond with turtles in it and dumping all the leaves and all this. Oh my God, the cemetery stuff. It's not good. I even got the environmental people involved. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and follow. No. See that number?
2036. That is interesting as well.
Look how they walking around them, auctioning them off like cattle, laughing, smiling, taking pictures while standing on the heads of gods. These are not decorations. These were your ancestors, your titans, your priest kings, carved into the mountains, buried in the damn canyon. They told you it's just erosion, just sand and wind? No, this here was a city, a temple, a civilization so old and so powerful they had to bury it to control the timeline. The Grand Canyon, that is not a natural crack in the earth. That's the skeleton of a damn empire. Cities carved into walls, domes blasted off, temples renamed Zoroaster and Isis temple-like mythology. No, this was America's Jerusalem, Atlantis, Amexem. They bombed it with water, with fire, reset it, and built fake trails for tourists while setting up surveillance on the real entrances so they could sit on our thrones. And don't miss this part, Shiva, Buddha, Hanuman, Isis, Horus, all them so-called foreign gods. Why you think their temples and names show up here in America? Because the old world was here. The spiritual capital was here. They just moved the story overseas and left the ruins buried under dirt and lies. Look at these mountains. Look at these faces. These ain't rocks. These are titans. These are ancestors. These are power stations of a black global civilization they tried to erase. Now zoom in on this one. See the face in the stone? That is not pareidolia. That's a giant. A titan. The mountain is the man. Y'all keep looking for your royalty in a museum, in a book, in Egypt. But the throne was always here. They terrified, not just of us talking, not just of us remembering, but of one of us stepping foot back on one of these sites. Because they know what we made them out of. They know our energy is living technology. They know our blood holds keys. And they can know the moment one of us touches the right rock, the whole thing gonna power back on. Just like in Atlantis, Shorty touched the stone, and it wasn't no rock, it was a whole ship. That's what them Grand Canyon temples really are. Power stations.
I just recently watched Prometheus. Have you seen Prometheus when David went in there and he touched one of the machines? Everything lit up. They even had to activate the ship by using a flute, you know? That's crazy.
Gateways, receivers, portals. You think this just art? No, this was spiritual technology. These heads weren't just statues, they were conduits, energy.
They probably used that same technology against Moses. You remember when Moses threw his staff down and the Pharisees or whatever they were, the Egyptians, they were like, man, we can do that too. And they threw their staffs down and they made 3 snakes. But, you know, behind scenes, when everything shut down, when Moses threw his staff down, I believe it ate the other 3 snakes. Let's look it up. That's why I don't get too excited about, you know, when people try like, oh, the gods and the Egyptians. I'm like, man, Moses already exposed them. Moses throws staff. Turns into snake. Maybe that was that rod that we were trying to decipher. You remember how that end had a pole with the rod, you know? And Moses and Aaron went into the Pharaoh, and they did so as the Lord commanded. And Aaron cast his rod before the Pharaoh, and the Pharaoh his servants, and it became a serpent. Then the pharaohs also called the wise men and the sorcerers. Now the magicians of Egypt, they also did it in a manner with their enchantments. For they cast down every man his rod, and they became serpents. But Aaron's rod swallowed up their rods. I knew I wasn't making that up. So yeah, they had Egyptians, they had magic and stuff, you know, because as you could see, you know, they had sorcerers. That's the name. Sorcerers.
Nodes, Atlantean power centers. They built them in alignment with stars, with the Earth's grid. You're not just looking at stone, you're looking at a motherboard of the planet. And now, look around. Look at who's not allowed in these spaces. Black folks, indigenous, the same bloodline they tried to wipe out. Ain't that ironic? Ain't that biblical? This is a resurrection story, not a fairy tale. The soil remembers, the stone remembers, and these titans, they waiting on you to remember too. Why you think they named them Temple of Sheba, Temple of Isis, Temple of Horus, Zoroaster, Osiris, Ra, and then told you it's just rock formations? They hoping you never go there. They hoping you never activate it, because they know that land ain't dormant, it's sleeping. And when we show up, it wakes up. That's why they erased our names. That's why they made us forget. That's why they renamed the land, the rivers, the mountains. Because we, the batteries that make the system reboot. This ain't no conspiracy. This is cosmic court in session. This is memory in motion. This is prophecy walking. You buried the truth in the canyon, but guess what? We coming, we touching that stone, and it's gonna open. Look how they
causes the tides on planet Earth. According to the mainstream model, it's what actually causes the tides on planet Earth. According to the mainstream model, it's the moon making a revolution around the Earth, causing the waters to move with it, and that's causing high tides and low tides. So according to the mainstream model, the moon's gravitational pull is what is pulling the water and causing high tides and low tides. But the moon makes pretty much one full revolution per day. That's what it appears to do in the sky. Like, let's say it's 10 p.m., the moon will be in pretty much the same position 24 hours later. So with that being said, how is it that there is one high tide and one low tide per day in the Gulf of Mexico, but 2 high tides and 2 low tides per day in the Bay of Fundy? How is it that there are such massive differences between the tide levels in all of these different areas around the world, if it's literally just the moon moving in a circle around the Earth? That makes literally no sense at all. And the moon is affecting the water, but not people, not cats, not butterflies, not anything, except for the ocean's waters. In fact, it doesn't even affect the Black Sea. The Black Sea is known as the sea with no tides because it's not connected to the larger oceans. So only the larger oceans have tides. But even areas, even pockets all over Earth have completely different tidal patterns than the next. So that means that there is no way that the moon just moving around the Earth once per day, appearing to do so in the sky once per day, there's no way that that is what is causing the tides. Now, in previous videos, I've speculated as to what could be causing the tides, but honestly, I don't know. I can't tell you. I think it has a lot to do with electromagnetism, which is why salty water is more affected. I think that makes sense.
That is interesting about the salty water. And we also spoke about the giant vortex in the Middle Earth. If you go to directly the North Pole, and it's theorized that there's a giant vortex going down like a giant drain in the middle of the Earth. Does it go down to Agartha? It might. We are going to continue that video, but I just wanted to share with you this video. You know, a giant torus field, electromagnetic. We got this giant lake of fire. That's what it looks like from here. It looks like a lake of fire. Doesn't it speak about a lake of fire in the basic instructions before leaving Earth? You know, the Aurora Borealis, you know. The northern lights is pure electrons. So the fact that it is salt water, that does make sense. You know, it would affect it a lot more. But again, going to the beginning of this video, if there's a giant vortex in the middle connecting all the oceans, you know, it can create a ripple effect everywhere else. Maybe that could be the tides. Just a theory, of course, for entertainment purposes only.
You're contemplating the tides and you're watching the sunset, realize how the sun is literally reflecting and walking all the way across the water to the viewer, to you, which means that because of the law of reflection, that cannot be a ball. We are not on a ball. This video was made for entertainment purposes only. What actually causes the tides on planet Earth?
It definitely makes you think. For entertainment purposes only, don't believe everything you hear or see on this video. Do your own research on everything. These are just theories, not facts, for context.
Using even Thomas Edison can be seen pictured in front of a radium fireplace because they found one small lump of radium was equivalent to 20,000 tons of coal, meaning radium could essentially heat your home for up to 1,000 years for nothing. And if we look at the atomic number of radium on the periodic table, it's 88, which is infinite. It's 2 8s going back and forth, which is an infinite number. And the radium was not just heating their home, it was enhancing their health. Because if we think of the 1800s, people were deeply connected with metals and frequency. And radium, similar to copper, gold and silver, is actually a metal, which emits its own unique frequency and vibrations. And similar to copper, radium is also conductive as well, meaning that by coming into contact with radium, whether that was through utilizing it in fireplaces or consuming it, which people did, the frequency of the radium would be transferred onto the electrical being, which would then enhance their frequency and instantaneously heal them. And so the elites will tell you radium is toxic, even though they bathe in radium springs. But is this really the truth, or is there more?
You know, it makes you think, because I still gotta watch that movie on Netflix, Radium Girls. If you haven't heard about it, you know, the Radium Girls, how they used to paint radium on clocks, and it's a crazy deep dive. But again, we don't know how they utilized different specimens back in the day, and it's definitely a deep dive. If you're interested, I covered it in previous videos, and I'm gonna drop it in the comments below if you haven't seen that radium special. The archaeologist who discovered the real crown of thorns.
These are Bethlehem thorns. This is the crown of thorns. This is the helmet of thorns. This was not a wreath, Tucker. This was not like a sweatband you wore around your forehead. They fashioned this diabolical crown of thorns, these Bethlehem thorns, that when they dry, they're as sharp as nails. You can feel that. I mean, it pricks your finger right to the touch. And they ram this on Jesus's head. And I want you to let this set in, because there's 50 puncture wounds on the head, both the forehead, the top, and the back of the head of the crucified man of the shroud. And so you can imagine.
And that's all detectable on the shroud.
Right on the shroud. You can see the back of the head, all of the blood pooling in the back of the head from this crown of thorns being rammed on his head. So Jesus has 700 scourge marks, and then they slam this on his head. Imagine seeing a man in this state. He will very quickly be dead. And that it's not enough for the crowd. They begin to yell, "Crucify him, crucify him, crucify him."
Demons.
Prime example of when grandma's favorite brand of cigarettes is just more cigarettes, bro. Look at this. This is impressive, though. Look, okay, so you got, right? That, but look at this. And look at the fine detail of that cross. You can see the arms of Christ in the Pall Mall smoke, brother. That is crazy.
That's not good. How they ruined TikTok. Yeah, it's not good.
Kinda sucks now. You might have noticed, TikTok kinda sucks now. In fact, it literally isn't even TikTok anymore. It's TikTok USDS Joint Venture LLC. Oracle, as of January 22nd, officially took over all TikTok US server data, which included retraining its algorithm, TikTok's most valuable asset. So it's virtually an entirely new app with the same skin. And there's been some sketchy business going on under the hood, which has actually been happening for quite a while now. Almost everyone can agree this app just doesn't hit like it used to, and Dylan Page just exposed the blatant corruption behind this company's practices.
You guys remember when TikTok went down? Like, it was down for like 3 days, and like it was a big deal. People couldn't even log in. If you deleted the app, you couldn't even download the app anymore. That is when that happened. They took away all the juicy stuff
and their algorithm. He's TikTok's biggest news account and just one of the biggest accounts on the platform, period. With over 18 million followers, he actually went to visit ByteDance's headquarters, the parent company of TikTok, and got in touch with some former and current employees who revealed some alarming truths. Because like most creators, myself included, we've been seeing a massive shift on TikTok. It went from being the fun, raunchy, underground feeling platform that didn't take itself so seriously with videos you wouldn't find anywhere else, to being by far the most censored social media app we have today. And
this is terrible. It's like it's designed for people under 16 years old, just the different things that it tries to promote.
It's only gotten worse ever since Oracle officially took over, whose new TOS include tracking your device's exact location and giving them permission to use anything you upload to train its AI, and you agree to it. But above all, the censorship has gotten absolutely out of control. Just as Dylan pointed out, according to TikTok's own TOS, you may not make any derogatory public statement or comment concerning TikTok, or else you could be removed from their creator rewards program. Basically saying, if you criticize us, we'll stop paying you. Straight out of TikTok's parent country's playbook, am I right? Well, good thing I haven't received a dime from TikTok, as their creator rewards program isn't even available in Canada where I live, so I've got nothing to lose. That's right, 90+ million likes, hundreds of millions of views, and I've gotten 0 from the platform. But it's okay, I'm not complaining. I genuinely love talking about the things I talk about, and I just have fun doing it. Well, it sort of stops being fun when half my videos get removed for community guideline violations, or just being ineligible for recommendation, meaning no one sees it, or just plain gaslighting me with record low views when the same videos perform incredibly well on other platforms where I have a fraction of the followers I have on here. Dylan Page experienced the same thing as he tried to cover real world events like the US raid on Venezuela and had 5 videos on the topic taken down in 2 days, with little to no explanation, just community guideline violation and even blocking him from the appeals process by glitching the page. Been there, done that, believe me. So he reached out to TikTok and received a 3-page response directly from them that showed him how deep this rabbit hole really goes, and conducted interviews with current and ex-TikTok employees and whistleblowers who told us what's going on behind the scenes. A spokesperson from a Dutch news organization revealed that TikTok frequently removes their videos without warning, that is, without notifying them or giving them an opportunity to appeal, which is totally illegal and against the EU's European Media Freedom Act, which states that social media platforms need to inform their users if they ever want to delete a video of theirs, and must give them an option to appeal by law. The act declares that shadow banning content without notice is also against the law, which news organizations and creators can attest happens all the time. Former TikTok employees even admitted that the company has the ability to reduce a post's reach without notifying the user, and do so all the time, confirming that the platform does shadow ban posts without telling users they are, or why, and are totally gaslighting us when a video underperforms without any notifications. TikTok is essentially deciding what news reaches viewers and what doesn't, based on totally vague and arbitrary guidelines that are so loose they can be interpreted any way that anyone wants. If that's not complete totalitarian control of the press, I don't know what is. Dylan also mentions that his account was permanently banned at one point with no explanation. 18 million followers gone, and he couldn't appeal it, and had to pull a lot of strings with internal connections to get it back. He recently finally got a response from TikTok, who told him the real reason he got banned was that he temporarily connected to a Wi-Fi network that was previously used by another account with multiple violations. So they're spying on his Wi-Fi network, an account completely unrelated to him with its own violations once connected to the network, and he got permabanned because he used Wi-Fi.
Wow. They said, oh, you connected to a Wi-Fi account that we have registered already, so we're not even trusting anything that comes out of your Wi-Fi signal. That is scary.
TikTok also told him that one of his posts were removed for community guidelines because it was shared by another user who was wrongfully moderated by TikTok. So your videos can get taken down because someone else who didn't even do anything wrong to begin with shared your video. Dylan visited ByteDance's headquarters, where employees continued to blow his mind with the company's shady practices, many of which told him they don't even know how many people they work with, and that the entire structure of the company is a complete mystery. A coder told him that no one really knows how the algorithm even works. It's a total black box even to them. So they don't know who they're working with, who they're working for, and barely even what they're working on. What exactly is going on here? But then something clicked. A handful of past TikTok employees told him something very concerning that brought the platform's recent over-censorship to a whole new light. Turns out, upper management has laid off almost all of their moderation teams and have replaced them with, you guessed it, AI to save money, which is exactly why bans and video removals are happening left, right, and center. According to them, 85% of content that is removed from TikTok is done through completely automated AI moderation, with other reputable news sources citing that 400 employees on moderation teams have proceeded to voluntarily leave because of this recent shift to AI. As such, creators are seeing videos get taken down on TikTok that remain completely fine on every other platform. platform. So the reason all these ridiculous shadow bans and guideline violations are happening is primarily because TikTok is rapidly switching from human mods to almost entirely AI moderation. Companies like TikTok are literally letting the machines do the thinking for them because it saves them money even if it destroys their platform, turning it into the most restricted and censored social media platform controlled by the tech.
That's literally all you see. You go to TikTok right now, them dancing.
Into the most restricted and censored social media platform.
That's literally all you see when you go on TikTok now. They got nothing on that there. Just nothing.
Controlled by the tech oligarchs who decide what they do and don't want us to see. And this isn't even a schizo post theory anymore. This is straight out of the horse's mouth. Current and former TikTok employees telling us exactly how they've turned this platform into a straight up propaganda machine. Now, to be fair, according to these internal employees, about 100 million videos are uploaded to TikTok every day. That is some serious volume. In just 3 months last year, 186 million videos were removed due to violations. I think TikTok just grew too fast, too quick. And just like Vine, which met its untimely end, I think they're realizing short-form content is particularly difficult to monetize due to the typically fast-paced, brain-rotty nature of the content. Not to mention the younger demographic. Advertisers just don't like to spend money on short-form. As such, short-form first companies like TikTok kinda need to cut costs any way they can to stay afloat, like replacing humans with AI. But clearly, it's not working very well, and there's a balance they need to strike. TikTok, get your shit together, bring back the human mods, and let's loosen up on the guidelines a bit before this turns into another Vine. You might have noticed, TikTok...
What they do is they convince everyone that they need a TV in their house, because everybody's got a TV in their living room, and then they dress up in suits and stand in front of nice buildings and say, this is what everybody needs to do. I am the official man, and as the official man, I have decided that this is what everyone should do. And everyone's like, oh, look, the official man, he's decided what everyone should do. We should do what he says. And because everybody has a TV, everybody just kind of agrees with it. And if you didn't have a TV in your house, you wouldn't even know they fucking existed. You would just be living your life, just normal. You probably get like a letter through the door every now and then saying, this is the leader. And you'd be like, what? No, it's not. But because you're watching TV every day and seeing the man, the official man in the suit, then it gives you the illusion that those people are supposed to be in charge. Whereas if you just turn off the TV, they fucking disappear.
The alien super spy. Alright guys, if you thought I wasn't going to give you another excellent specimen of the day, think again. Hayusin. Guys, I'm not sneezing. Some people are saying, bless you. I'm not sneezing. That's my move. Hayusin. Alright, back to this. We got a new Malike that is from the Congo. Extraordinary, velvety piece, to say the least. It looks like it has a velvet texture from all the different crystals like overlapping. I would have to rate this a 9.1, and I would call this the Velvet Bird. What would you guys name this? Man, that's all we got for today's video. If you made it this far, be sure you hit that like and subscribe button on your way out and drop the code word in the comments below. The code word for today is unknown creatures. Go ahead and drop unknown creatures in the comments below. When you do that, that lets me know you're a real one. You made it all the way through the video and you really rock with your boy. And I just want to say thank you guys for your support, all your words of encouragement. It really helps me out. And the likes, the comments, thank you guys. It means the world to me, and I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. This was the most mysterious footage on the internet today. See you later.